выпустил. Поэтому дверь была не заперта.
Hey guys, this is Anime Master. I'm here to tell you guys that I've kind of hired or recruited a person to do voice with me. So he'll be known as Anime Reloaded. Now I'll be passing on to him to do his wife. Let me know how he does, and in my opinion, he's a lot better than me at doing what ifs, because he goes a lot more in depth. Thank you guys for listening to me. Now I'll be passing it on to him. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Anime Reloaded, and I'll be working with the YouTuber known as Anime Remaster in making these what if videos of animes from popular animes, popular characters from animes, and also kind of using our own imagination to give our story some depth and some character development, but to also tie back in with some of the original anime lore, but obviously with boosted up powers of these characters. So anyway, for this video, my first video, I will be explaining about the My Hero Academia protagonist is Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku, and I will be talking to you guys about what if Deku had Dragon Slayer magic, which sounds crazy, but at the same time sounds pretty exciting, right? Because that would also mean that when Deku was trying to help out his childhood friend, Bakugo, or Kachan, as I like to call him, what if instead of Deku struggling to help him out in time for All Might to get there, he instead blows the villain away with some Dragon Slayer attacks, or basically Fire Dragon Raw, which is taken from Natsu Dragon. This would make Bakugo stunned because he always assumed that Deku, or he always assumed that Midoriya, has no quirks or has no powers. But obviously Bakugo, he has powers from when he grew up with having it. So if this happened, then All Might, the number one hero that saw this happening, wouldn't have had to step in to help out. And instead of being impressed with Midoriya for his bravery and being quirkless, but instead still getting one for all, because Midoriya did show bravery, and until using the Dragon Slayer powers, people thought that he was quirkless. So the bravery with him would still stand, and being obviously quirkless. So All Might would then give one for all to Midoriya to inherit, but also have his Dragon Slayer magic. So obviously we don't know anything about Midoriya's dad. Just taking a backstory. But what if his dad was a former Dragon Slayer, or what if he was a Dragon Slayer and Midoriya was born as a half Dragon Slayer or half Dragonborn, but obviously his firepower, it would be nothing compared to his father's. Now, I'm not saying that his father was Natsu Dragneel, because obviously there's no way to justify that or to explain it. But what if there was simply another Dragon Slayer that also had fire abilities, and it just happened to be Midoriya's dad or father? So he'll have no trouble beating the villains, or beating the villain that nearly captured Bakugo, which is the hothead. But then also when it came to the UA exams, Midoriya, he wouldn't have had to use one for all at 100% with one finger or one hand, which he did later on. But instead, he used his fire Dragon Slayer attack to punch the robot instead, and leaving Deku totally fine. Now, if this happened, then Midoriya he wouldn't be able to make friends as quickly as he did, because the other students in UA, they sympathize with Midoriya in the fact that he can't control his quirk, and that he's learned to gain control of it, and every time he uses his quirk, his body gets damaged in the process. So if Deku was able to use even just 5% of One For All at the start, but still use part of his Dragon Slayer magic, then there'll be no need for him to get hurt, and he'll be able to still apply a similar attack force onto robots, onto the villains, which would just make him OP in the future if he learns to continue training as he does now. And when it comes to the UA exams, the physical exams, Midoriya, he wouldn't have had to strategize as much, especially when going up against Bakugo, whose quirk is simply natural glistening. Instead, he could retaliate and fight back head on with using his fire attack, which would be pretty awesome, and in hindsight would cause a bigger explosion in the UA building. So he'll have this power, but also having One For All, he can still learn to use One For All in his own technique, like he does in the anime and in the manga. So his full cowling, it could be kicked up a notch to be full cowling Dragon Raw, or full cowling Firestorm Whirlwind Attack, or something like that, which would make the villains, want to either cower, or it would kill them instead of only harming them. But what I like about this What If the most is that being born with Dragon Slayer magic is not artificial, meaning that it wasn't manifested from All For One and One For All quirk, which existed in the near to the beginning of the world, which is why now people in My Hero Academia anime, most of them, they're born with quirks, because the two major quirks was brought down to Earth, because it was inherited by the two people with the quirks. The first one being All For One, which is the main villain, but also the first hero to have One For All, which was then passed down from generation to generation until it reached All Might, before he became the symbol of peace. So Deku, he'll be able to use One For All in the future. His full cowling special ability, he'll be able to amplify that tenfold, or should I say 100-fold. But also, he would have to depend on Eri, which is if you know from the anime and the manga, Deku used Eri's ability to turn back time, so that when Deku uses 100% to fight Shigaraki, which is the leader of the Heiseikai, he used a boosted up version of One For All, which was infinite, which was amazing to see from the anime and also reading the manga. So that would mean that Eri, she'll not be needed to help out Midoriya if you can use One For All in that sense, which is full power once for all. If he continues his training, and also whilst he's training, his Dragon Slayer attack can also be, boosted up as well. Because if Deku did had Dragon Slayer magic and his father was a Dragon Slayer, then obviously the Dragon Slayer magic that we've seen from Fairy Tail, it wouldn't be to that scale with Deku, because it's only a half Dragon Slayer for my story. Now, in terms of Deku using a long range attack, he's currently trying to use a form of his full cowling, to where he can shoot out, or from where he could propel wind pressure from a longer range, to avoid getting attack, or to avoid using a lot of his power, which would then injure him. So if he's able to do that, they could also sync that in with the Dragon Slayer attack, and also he'll be able to use wind and fire at the same time. So this could be a major plus for Deku in the future. Anyway guys, that's all for this video. If you enjoyed the video, then please thank Anime Remaster for allowing me to do this and to show it on his channel. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to make more videos on his channel for the near future. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.